Hey, you guys. Nice to talk to you for a few minutes about digestion. Terry and I were talking about what are some of the reasons why people can end up with digestive issues. Things like acid reflux, pain, even allergies or intolerances, inability to break down certain things, certain foods that we eat. Well, basically, if our body, there's a few different reasons. Like number one, if our body's fighting a virus, then sometimes we can stop producing digestive enzymes during that process or produce way less. If we have nutritional deficiencies, then we don't have the ingredients in our body to actually produce those enzymes that can break down food. And then some simple things, like if we're eating too fast, we don't chew that food, then our body can't actually have enough time to break it down. So, we need to slow down. And then some medications can actually cause issues. So like antibiotics or steroids or birth control, medications like that actually destroy the good flora that run through our whole body, especially the digestive system. So, and then the bad guys take over and they can actually cause havoc everywhere. They can even eat like little microscopic holes in the intestinal lining. And then when we eat food, the food can get out into our bloodstream, and the body doesn't like that one bit. And so, the body starts producing histamine against that food. And so you have all these antibodies against the food. So now it's like an allergic reaction, but you're not born with the allergic reaction. You just acquire it because of those little microscopic holes in your intestine. So this happened to me. And it was so frustrating because I'm like, wait, I didn't have some of these allergies when I was little. Why do I have them now? Well, this is why. And for me, it was because of all the antibiotics that I was using. And so I just, here's what I did. And I recommend doing some of these things. Number one, we've got to get the histamine response to stop. And then the only way to get it to actually stop is to avoid the foods that we're reacting to completely. Because what I did at first is I would avoid it most of the time, but then sometimes I'd be like, oh, I'll just eat a little bit. But that little bit will keep that histamine reaction going on and on. And it's frustrating. And one example is dairy. Dairy was really hard for me to give up back when I was having all those issues with it. And it's because the body produces histamine for up to 3 days after you have dairy one time, which is crazy. So it took me a long time to figure out, why I kept having these reactions. I'd be like, gosh, I didn't eat dairy today. I didn't eat it yesterday. No, I ate it 3 days ago and I'm still, having histamine from it. So that's one of those tricky ones. So here's what I do. Because if I wouldn't stop that stuff, I would end up with not only digestive issues like gas and pain, but I'd also end up with acid reflux. Like maybe I'd bend over too much right after I ate some or drank some water even, a lot of it, then it would push that stomach and then I'd end up with acid reflux. So it's frustrating. So here's what I would do. Number one, I would completely avoid the foods that are causing the histamine reaction until that intestinal lining can get rebuilt and you can rebalance the immune system so that you stop producing that histamine. And when you get that taken care of, then most of the time, those acquired allergy foods you can reintroduce and you're just fine. So how do you do it? Well, here's how I did it. Number one, I'm going to read this so I don't forget any of them. But number one, easy just. And so anytime that I would eat dairy, meat, or any kind of fat, I would take that Easy Just. Anytime I would take it right away, then I'd eat the food. The Easy Just has the enzymes to break that stuff down. Number two, I would use alfalfa anytime I had produce because that will break down all produce. Also, alfalfa is a natural antihistamine, so it will help to get rid of that histamine. Number three, I do both the Optiflora Pearl and the DI, Optiflora DI. Why? Because that's going to restore the good flora, and we want that to happen because then those responses will go away. Number three, I'm going to do the Shaklee protein every day And I do the Life Strip, Vitalizer Strip, because it's got the vitamin C in it. Now I add the collagen to my protein also. The collagen, the protein, the vitamin C all work together to help to repair that intestinal lining. And so that's really important, because then food won't keep going through, and then I won't get more acquired allergies, right? And it can even repair the previous acquired allergies. And then the last thing that I like to do is the nutriferon, because that nutriferon actually repairs the immune system and it pulls the extra histamine out of the body. So then you'll have less of a response. So that's what I do. I'd recommend it. So the Easy Just, the alfalfa, the Optiflora Pearl and DI, I would do that protein and I'd add some collagen into it and make sure you get your vitamin C, and then the nutriferon. And do that, and do it as long as it takes. You know, it might take your body a little while to recover, you know, to repair and then recover. But give yourself the grace, give yourself the time for that to happen. And if you do, then you probably will be able to get this problem to go away. And then you'll be feeling much better and you'll be able to probably eat that food again. But if you keep cheating like I was doing at first, it won't work. You know, it just won't work. And then you'll end up probably on some kind of antacid, like antacid. And that is a problem, because we need the acid in our stomach to break down food. And if we take an antacid, it removes that acid. And that now suddenly, so people take the antacid and for a few months you feel good. Well, then after a while, you start feeling worse because you're not breaking the food down now. And so you don't have the acid in the stomach, but you're not breaking food down. And so now you have nutritional deficiencies in a whole bunch of other areas and a whole bunch more cramping in your intestine and your stomach. So I think that it's a much better solution to do the preventative. You know what I mean? I think that will give you better results. So feel free to shoot me any questions if this didn't make a lot of sense. Or if you had a question about it, you know, maybe I spoke a little too fast, just let me know. Thanks, you guys. Talk to you in a bit.